Hello, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. Ni hao, I am your host, FaZe Crypto. We are looking at a Bitcoin now at under $10,000, currently standing at $9,925 at the current time of recording this video. And we are seeing a lot of those bull boys, with the 6-month greed, basically 6-month high. And now, of course, really watching that $9,800 resistance continue to sort of being a big factor. Holding above that 10,000 is important, and we'll get into that. We'll talk about why that we could be looking at a situation where the highs have been put in. Of course, we'll talk about exactly where we could expect to see that this, momentum going from here on out, and of course, how a lot of different international variables could be, in part due to, what we've seen happening now. This article, of course, will go into detail about the different things that we see happening. Of course, with JP Morgan, Ethereum, and the U.S. cryptocurrency crackdown. But of course, I would like to talk about Cardano in this context, talk about potential cryptocurrencies in technologies that are offered in the realm of blockchain that will have the potential to really sort of knock Bitcoin off of its throne, depending on where we see different variables going. The real question is, will this sort of 3% downtrend just be a minor hiccup? We will see plenty of people the dip, and I would predict that we'd see Bitcoin go back above 10,000 temporarily and then perhaps plummet down. We had been talking about this on this channel for quite some time, and I've been very skeptical about this recent bullish action that we've been seeing. I think that it's too early in 2020 to see the full swing of things happening. We tend to see in the beginning of the year, this is actually a time when we watch the price go down. I've seen noticed in previous years, and that's according to my technical analysis. I'm expecting to see around a $7,000 Bitcoin. If you guys are interested in seeing my technical analysis, all you have to do is tune into the live stream, and that's where you'll be able to get your fix on that. Of course, obviously, past performance is no indicator of future success or failure in the cryptocurrency space. We've seen that factor play itself out time and time again, but the real core of seeing happening right now does in fact lend itself into what we can expect to see in the future. And I would say, I really want to talk about, this article. Cardano can bring fresh new perspective to crypto, but it needs time, which I would say is of the essence. I think that we do have a symptom of an early stage of crypto. I mean, of course, we saw Bitcoin hitting its all-time high of around $20,000 back a couple years ago, and people were expecting things to take off back then, but they didn't really see the writing on the wall, that we're going to have to crawl before we can walk before we can run, and run before we can fly, and of course fly before we get a jetpack and we go to the moon. That's all for analogies, and I think that this article is very indicative of the potential that Cardano has to really contest a lot of the different things that we're seeing happening in crypto space. So when we want to talk about what's happening with Cardano, and the creator says real world blockchain applications are limitless. Team donates $500K to Crypto ADA for research. It is interesting when he talks about the limitless potential of a lot of these different things. IOHK, the software engineering company behind the decentralized blockchain project Cardano, just made a big gift to the University of Wyoming. It donated $500,000 to crypto to support the university's research and development of blockchain technology. We talked about this and how it is very significant. I mean, we do talk about on this channel how blockchain is one of the fastest growing career fields, and more so now than ever. I could definitely see. Of course, it is interesting to see, even as we're recording, the Bitcoin price slowly sort of trying to creep out of its the little tomb that it made for itself with that dip down. But it is interesting us to see it continue to test that resistance. I want to also play a little clip for you right here from this, it just is an interesting little video I found on Twitter, which talks about Libra. Then it does give us an interesting context about what we can expect to see. So I'm going to play a little bit of that now to give what I'm about to say a little bit more context.
Facebook calls it Libra.
Facebook recently proposed a digital currency that would
make it as easy to send money around the world as it is to send a photo.
And
Libra is promising stability.
Because Libra would be backed by a basket of major currencies. Users would be protected from inflation in any one country. Seems reasonable to me. But government officials were not happy. They summoned Mark Zuckerberg to Washington.
I actually don't know if Libra is going to work. But I believe that it's important to try new things.
With politicians threatening all kinds of regulation, Libra backers got scared.
High-profile backers have recently dropped out of Libra.
Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, and eBay all quitting the association.
Why are politicians so opposed?
Because they're threatened by it, because this is going to be competition for the US dollar.
Tech reporter Naomi Brockwell.
The government doesn't like this competition.
But even if Libra's crushed, says Brockwell, other digital currencies like Bitcoin can't be stopped.
You want to send money to Russia to a family member, it's going to be censored. You want to send money to a relief effort in Venezuela, it's going to be censored. You want to use Bitcoin for that, your money will get through. That's an incredibly powerful tool. That gives people back the freedom to spend their money where they want to spend it.
Bitcoins are generated all over the internet by anybody.
It's the first currency we've ever seen that is decentralized.
They can't shut it down.
Exactly, and that's why it's still around, because they haven't been able to have these hearings. They haven't been able to call on the CEO of Bitcoin and say, you'd better cease and desist. There is no server to unplug. There is no company to shut down, no CEO to throw in jail, so it persists. That's really exciting.
Digital currencies live on thousands of individuals' computers, so no government can stop them by pressuring any one company.
Bitcoin, the virtual currency.
When Bitcoin started, it was worth virtually nothing, but then it caught on.
You've seen Bitcoin gain 40%.
2 years ago, the price of one Bitcoin reached almost $20,000. Then it crashed to $3,000. Today, the price is about $9,000. That volatility deters many people from using Bitcoin as money. But for those of us who don't trust governments,
it is the only suitable money for free people.
Still, there are plenty of skeptics.
I think it's more of a gigantic classic pump and dump scheme.
So, just interesting. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll retweet it. So if any of you want to go and check this out, you can find it on my Twitter. But overall, it is interesting just to see how we've been watching the cryptocurrency space sort of making a lot of these different evolutions. And this is, I would say, indicative of the struggle of our time. There really is going to be a huge question of decentralization, and even with something like Libra, with of course China working overtime as they're one to do to create their own cryptocurrency. I think that it is now more than ever important to talk about true decentralization, and of course I would say Cardano does have a good leg up on the competition when it comes to that sort of variable, and we're going to be witnessing a lot of these different aspects of the space coming to fruition in real time right before us. It'll be very interesting to see how a lot of these different variables actually play out. When we talk about Bitcoin being the introduction of sort of digital gold, and then of course building upon that with smart contracts and Ethereum, and then sort of thinking about how things really go naturally go their course, and how we'll be seeing a lot of these different aspects sort of coming into their own in the near term. So that's my perspective. Of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your dad. I'm not your financial advisor. So remember to do your own research. Remember, this video is just my opinion. So of course, make sure that you guys go and do your own research, and remember that this market is extremely volatile, and you're going to need to you know, make your own decisions and come to your own conclusions on these things, and nobody's going to think it for you. So all that being said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy this content. I will see you guys in the next video. Of course, remember to comment down below letting us know the country that you guys are currently residing in and interested in cryptocurrency from. And you know, of course, comment down below, you know, upvote, subscribe, all that. And I'll see you guys next video. Have a good one.